Welcome to the news now from the Belmont Journal. I'm your host, Mike Crowley, and we're joined today by Lisa Gibalerio of the Wayside Youth and Family Support Network. Lisa's also coordinator of the Belmont Wellness Coalition, and we're happy to have her back. Today, we're talking about building resiliency for our kids. So Lisa, I'll just point out that parents hear a lot about the role of resiliency and how, what that plays in terms of the experience of our kids and youth, especially around things like processing the pandemic and other challenges. What exactly is resiliency and why is it so important?
Thank you, Mike. Resiliency basically comes down to how we recover from stressful situations. It concerns our ability to cope with difficult situations, and it really is focused on our attitude toward those difficult things that we can't control. People who are resilient, Mike, are those who tend to manage adversity. We know that life is filled with ups and downs. We've certainly experienced some incredibly difficult times the last couple of years. And it's those challenges that actually can help us build our own resiliency. But basically, it's how we manage, how we recover from, and how we ultimately move on from difficult situations.
So maybe put another way, Lisa, this is sort of like looking at the glass half full instead of half empty.
Absolutely. It is so much about our perspective toward those difficult things. So resiliency, I just want to be clear though, is not denial. We're not denying difficult times. Resiliency says, okay, this is really hard, sad, difficult, painful, and I got to figure out how to move on from it. And I got to find the silver lining. So you're absolutely right. People who are resilient tend to be able to identify the parts of a difficult passage that are actually okay.
What can we say then, Lisa, about how to build resiliency in our youth, especially, given something like the last 2 years of pandemic?
Right. So the advice from experts, Mike, is focused around basically two parts. Validation. So we definitely, again, don't want to gloss over that which has been painful. So validate the hard parts of the pandemic. Maybe children, lost birthday celebrations, holiday celebrations. We know they weren't in school with their friends. So definitely, do some good active listening, good validation around the hard part. But here's where resiliency comes in. Try not to get stuck there as parents. Try not to dwell in the down parts of it. Find the silver linings, as we said. Look at the glass as half full. So for example, maybe as a family, we identified new places to hike, new playgrounds to visit. Maybe we now bake together and cook together in a way that we didn't before. Maybe we Zoom with the grandparents more regularly than we did pre-pandemic. So again, it's a two-step process. Acknowledge and validate the hard stuff, but try to identify the good stuff, because that helps with the perspective that we talked about, the positive perspective, the kind of, okay, this was hard and there is some good and we need to move on.
In addition to shifting the focus away from losses, Lisa, is there anything else that parents can do to help their kids develop resiliency?
Just to remind them, Mike, that the hard parts are not going away. Even if this pandemic were to someday go away, there's going to be challenges. That is just part of being alive. We have ups, we have downs. So, and kids actually are hardwired to recover from the downs. But again, just focusing on the attitude, focusing on the perspective, acknowledging that the hard times are inevitable, but we're going to get through it and we're going to find something good that happened also.
All right, Lisa, to wrap, anything else to say about resiliency?
Well, I guess I would say just that your kids are watching you. So parents, try to model, resiliency to the best that you can. Try to model good coping mechanisms. I'll give you a couple of examples. If tonight you happen to burn dinner, dad or mom that's cooking, just say, hey, you know what sounds really good right now? Take out pizza. So see how you're just kind of changing it into a positive. Or if you find yourself on the side of the road with a flat tire, make sure to acknowledge hopefully we all have AAA or somebody comes to our rescue, acknowledge the good part. Wasn't it great that so-and-so could help us out, pick us up, and we're fortunate enough that we'll get a new tire. So I guess the last thing I would say, just that parents try to model that, glass half full, try to model a bounce back perspective. And that is a part of resiliency, an important part.
All right, Lisa, it is so important to work with our kids to develop the skills that they need to get through the challenges of life. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.